Previously on 94Chill, the podcast.
They hunted him down.
You know, Colonel, we went to a lot of trouble to find you.
They murdered his friends. And they took the only thing he would kill for.
If you want your kid back, then you gotta cooperate. Right?
Wrong.
Now, somewhere, somehow, someone's gonna pay.
Do you think that he's going to give us any problems?
He'll do exactly as he's told.
Hasta luego, fellas.
You're a funny guy, Sally. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
Are you gonna tell me what's going on or what?
No. Don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired. What are you doing?
Helping you get her back.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's right, Major. You did.
I lied.
If it's a mission no man can survive, he's the man for the job. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Commando.
Let's party.
All right. Well, we are live for the moment. This week on 90 for Chill, the podcast, I have Mike Dubois on the line on the other side of the conversation. I put it out there, just a suggestion of tackling Commando. It's definitely one of my favorite Schwarzenegger movies, and it's definitely not for the quality. I think it's fair to say.
You can't. It's an audio thing, so I should probably explain that I was shaking my head, going,
"Oh no!" I see. I don't usually do video, so yeah. So yeah. I mean, it's directed by Mark L. Lester, who I think I didn't really do a lot of research about him. I think he's kind of from the Roger Corman school of thought, at least. I think of more recently, he's become more of a producer role, just putting out content real fast and cheap, just get a big name. Last thing I saw him direct would be product from Ali's Accessories shop on Etsy's trash feature review, Groupie. So that's basically, I think, Taryn Manning from Orange is the New Black. Eric Roberts would be the name you'd put on top of the title.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page. Groupie is the third to last movie. Second to last was Poseidon Rex. And then the last one he did was in 2014, Dragons of Camelot. But he has been he was an executive producer on The Gardener in 2020. So I'm just backing up what you were saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you have a title like Poseidon Rex, I can only think that you're trying to get into the what was the Asylum, I guess, is the studio most notorious for the sci-fi channel made for original movies.
Oh yeah.
The people who brought us Sharknado.
Yep.
Sharknado Note 6, a chainsaw-inspired ode to Dead Alive, aka Brain Dead, does not save this feature.
I was literally just thinking about Sharknado, which is funny. I appreciate like bad movies, because like a lot of them are just really absurd, and that is my jam. Like I unironically love The Room, because it is like watching a train wreck in slow motion, and it is beautiful. Like just the perfect shining diamond of everything you shouldn't do while making a movie. Like
No, I did see The Room. I figured I should watch that before I go to The Disaster Artist.
Yeah.
I would really recommend, if you find a deal with Riff Tracks, that would be the way to go. It's just a very difficult title to get a hold of, since I think he's still distributing. Tommy Wiseau is still distributing it himself.
Yeah.
And I think I think if I heard right from Paul Scheer from How Did This Get Made, he's still got his underwear ads in there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So, I mean, it just beats you over the head with how bad it is. Eventually you're gonna submit. I mean, if you're still with it after the first sex scene, which,
oh yeah,
I mean, oh god.
Can I tell you my favorite thing about that movie?
All right.
They actually cut a scene, and the scene was it was a scene in the movie where we find out that Tommy's car can fly, and it's a vampire. I'm not making that up.
Okay, that I mean, I'd take that. I think that would have that would have saved the movie, because
of course it would have. That's why they cut it, because they had to do literally everything wrong. Like he filmed it simultaneously using digital and like actual,
right,
like
analog,
I think 20
right,
like at the same time, which like you light the scenes completely different depending on what camera you're using,
right.
And it was just
but
I'm probably not saying anything that wasn't in The Disaster Artist, but like I also haven't seen The Disaster Artist.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, there's also the book that it was based on. So but I think the beauty about bad movies, and I think sometimes I get caught up in a Sci-Fi Channel original. Frankenfish was a good one.
Oh, okay.
Like where, well, being a Peorian originally. Basically snakehead fish. You mean Asian carp are the bad guys?
Oh no.
Yeah. And you get and you get just some beautiful, like, what the hell happened scenes, and even the actors, or the characters I should say, even respond to, whoa, that's a little too far for this movie. But the beauty of absurd films, good or bad, is a lot of it is, what do you expect them to do?
Yeah, right.
Why first they give you an idea, like, why wouldn't you want to watch this? And then second, like, okay, but how? And now you're just, all right, you appreciate the effort, hence why I have written, like, I gave up all my indie screenplays I was writing to do a professional wrestling zombie comedy.
Oh, wow.
And I'm still trying my best to sell it. I just really need to get it out of production hell. Gotcha. That's Main Event of the Dead. Drop me an email, rustthebus07@gmail.com if you got ideas. So I'm more than willing to send treatments out. So with that said, yeah.
Actually, because I heard you reference this on a previous episode, but okay, so like, because I'm not familiar with how the back end of movies work. I more lean on analysis and stuff like that.
It was Drunken Zombie double features that kind of like, okay, no,
but you shot them already?
No, they haven't been shot. Okay, I'm still trying to. Yeah, I have a script. Made the mistake of sending it to Washington for the copyright, more or less hoping like maybe it gets leaked and then I can sue somebody. That's not how things work.
I mean, it kind of is. That's how a lot of, like, there's literally lawyers' offices that their whole job is to like patent things and then sue people for breaking those patents. Like, that's their whole thing. So
I get it. Copyright law is a totally different thing, because it's basically, I know there was a movie that Troma distributed called Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies. So And it's actually got a cast and everything, but I'm thinking I'm probably beat them to the punch by, maybe a couple months. So definitely not going to go and bring up litigation for that one.
That's fair.
So, which reminds me, I still got to try finding the movie Monster Brawl, I think it is, where it's like Dave Foley is a wrestling promoter or something, and he's putting Frankenstein versus Dracula and stuff like that. Kevin Nash, a lot of big names from the 90s are in it.
That is amazing.
I saw it at Blockbuster back in the day. Like, do I really want to? I wasn't that deep into the just embracing so bad it's good movies, despite being an MST3K person from back in the original run.
I am also contractually obligated by myself to mention the Dungeons and Dragons movie. And I love Jeremy Irons to the core of my being, because he only did that movie to furnish his castle in Ireland.
Yes, I'm aware of that one.
Admitted that one. And then number 2, he did what I want literally any person who's gonna go ham to do: commit to the bit. Like, there is no point where Jeremy Irons is not on 11. Like, every single part of his performance in that movie is the most. Like,
yes. Oh, I mean, there's I only saw it once in theaters. I thought that was like the I don't know, it was kind of a rough time. I think that was 2000. It feels like 2001, may have been 2000. But
oh wow, sorry.
But it was like, okay, that was just one I knew that was like, one, how do you do Dungeons and Dragons? Now, granted, I've seen the Capcom arcade machine. It can be done. But all right, how are you gonna, like, really, Marlon Wayans? Like, I don't even think, like, it had to be just after Scary Movie.
See, now that you mentioned that, it didn't click in my brain that had to have been like within the last 20 years, because they had like heavy CGI in it.
Yeah. It was definitely late 90s CGI.
It was 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2000.
Yeah, it was just
well, it would have been late 90s still, because
well, are we really going to recognize the Catholic Church here?
Fair.
Yeah. I mean, but there's a lot of things that call for me to revisit it. I love myself some Bruce Payne.
Bruce Payne, I'm not familiar.
He was pretty much the heavy for Jeremy Irons, the bald guy.
Oh yeah, right.
His best his best performance, I think, would probably be Passenger 57 with Wesley Snipes, where he's a terrorist who's I mean, that's one to go back and watch, just as Elizabeth Berkley before she was not Elizabeth Berkley. Who was Hugh Grant's ex? Elizabeth Hurley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not the Showgirls chick, the Austin Powers woman.
I mean, both of them are women, but
yes, yeah. Well, I
understand.
I had an English degree, I got to try the thesaurus in my own head.
I get you.
Right. So, yeah, but basically Die Hard on a Plane. So,
yes. Yeah.
Which was every 90s action movie, except for Dungeons and Dragons, I suppose, when we to round that out.
When you break it down, isn't every movie just Die Hard on a Plane? Like,
well, I mean, at least they threw snakes in Samuel L. Jackson's. Couldn't get Bruce Willis, so they couldn't get that Die Hard with a Vengeance sequel, which we'd have to come up with another Gruber for that one.
Another what? I'm sorry.
Another Gruber brother. If you were going to do a sequel to Die Hard for Vengeance.
Yeah, you're right.
The most famous being Alan Rickman But of course, then you have Jeremy Irons. So it would have all,
we all came full circle.
Right.
Full circle.
But so thinking about Dungeons and Dragons, though, I think that brings us back to Commando in 1985. Now, the only thing I really knew of Mark L. Lester before that was Class of 1984. Michael J. Fox. I haven't seen it. It's definitely in my parameters to tackle in this podcast, and doing that, I've already done Showdown in Little Tokyo, and I've ran through Groupie. I don't know if I really need to finally have that episode for the director. But so I don't really know much about that. I can't. Basically punks in a school playing up on the entire Orwellian bullshit that we are now dealing with. But well, I mean, it's either gonna be 1984 or Class of Newcomb High is how we're gonna turn out.
I'm not familiar with the second one, but
it's an old Trauma movie. I think they ended up having 3 sequels, I think. But
is it like a post-apocalypse? I'm judging just
just another movie set in Traumaville. So
okay.
I'm not familiar with that term at all. Yeah. All right, Trauma is so basically Roger Corman came first with all the low budget movies, and then basically Lloyd Kaufman created his own studio, Troma, to be more exploitive and even cheaper. So you have movies like the Toxic Avenger, which I think is kind of in the zeitgeist. At least it had its own Fox Saturday morning cartoon at one point, and a toy line. Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD, Surf Nazis Must Die.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
It showed up. I think it showed up on a quiz show of like pick out which one of these is fake, and everybody picked that, and they're just like, no, that's that's a movie.
So not enough surf violence against surf Nazis, I think, is the end. Great finale, but it just drags. So James Gunn got his start with Troma, writing for them. So
I heard the discussion about James Gunn in the previous or one of the previous episodes.
Right.
I don't know when this.
It was the last full episode, not
But James Gunn is a very interesting filmmaker. We need to go on to Commando because I could talk about literally any other movie but Commando.
Yeah, well, and
I think that's
right.
I think that's the most telling thing.
Yeah. So
I want to caveat that I do love this movie.
Oh,
like I do.
Well, what I was getting at was okay, we're talking about Trauma, we're talking about the Asylum, we're talking Dungeons and Dragons was kind of is in the realm of Commando, really.
Yes.
It's got way too much money behind it. And you can't take it seriously for a moment. Nope.
And even though it will take itself seriously to a point.
Yeah,
like there are some they try for comedic relief. Like they try.
Well, I think that's part of the charm of Commando is just that, okay, we're trying to make Arnold Schwarzenegger more than just the foreign barbarian or the machine that doesn't even say 500 words in the Terminator, who pretty much couldn't say the more mechanical "I will be back" because of his Austrian accent.
Yeah,
and of course James Cameron, another one who came from the Corman stock, who of course is now the most influential filmmaker if he would stop and release a movie.
Yeah,
I mean, so I've not seen Avatar, so
that it's It's okay. It's Dances with Wolves with aliens.
Dances with Smurfs, I think, is how South Park put it.
Yeah. What was I gonna bring? Okay, so my like offhand interpretation of Commando is a couple of aliens came onto Earth and decided that they wanted to make an 80s action movie, and they accidentally succeeded at making the most 80s action movie. Like,
yeah, I mean, not even Canon Films could come up with something like this.
Yeah, like it. Okay, I want to go in order.
All right,
of the movie. So, but
okay,
but yeah, rather than just give my overall
right
away, like we gotta save that. We gotta
yeah. I mean,
get people to listen to the end,
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of podcasts about Commando. I'm not quite, I'm not first to it. The Ringer Network has the rewatchables, and they did this, and I think, basically they would probably say the most rewatchable part of the features basically once you have the mall shootout, and then you're stuck. You got to finish you got to finish it through. So 100%. It's great that it's only 90 minutes, because then you're only losing an hour if you come in that late on it. But they miss finer details, like what the hell is an Austrian doing as a former Delta Force member? And I got the Delta Force bullshit from the iTunes description.
Oh no.
And it's really, everything is really brief. If it makes sense, it's covered if you pay enough attention, basically. And that comes from the Alyssa Milano, conversation at the table, not about what the hell is in that sandwich, but the rock and roll. When rock and roll came to East Germany, the communists said it'd be subversive. Maybe they were right. So we know he's East German.
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is true of the whole movie, but it's something that I noticed very quickly was this is a 90-minute movie. Yes. It is the slowest, most drawn out 90 minutes I've ever seen, like, except for the couple of action scenes, because a couple of them go on forever.
Oh, the finale.
But a couple of them are very, very satisfyingly quick.
Yes.
But it's like Dragon Ball Z, the action movie. Just like, okay, I'm gonna charge up my attack for 3 seconds. Mm-hmm. And then all of the sound effects that they added, like, they were just not even trying to be like, oh, this is a cartoon.
I had a coworker just mentioning the editing mistakes, primarily in the Porsche chase, but I had to rewatch the fight between Bill Duke and Schwarzenegger to make sure, whoa. Like, I thought he may have fallen through the bed frame the first time I saw it and got impaled on the not the bed frame, but I'm just trying to figure out why Sully was staying in a trashy motel like that when he's driving a Porsche and he's not afraid to show that he's got money. That
was all they could afford.
Well, they spent it all on the Porsche, probably, or the old Sunbeam that Schwarzenegger rips a chair out of to sit by Radon Chong, but has no problems driving the vehicle after himself.
Well, okay, the removing the seat was so that way he would be lower in the car and less noticeable, I think. That's
the only thing I could think of.
Yeah.
But it's really just to show, he's a superhuman. Let's not.
No, he's Hercules with Green Beret training. That's like, he literally at one point, if you have not seen the movie thus far, we have already spoiled some stuff.
Oh,
but if you have not watched it this far, why are you listening?
It's 36 years old. I mean,
yeah. But at one point, he like personally lifts a phone booth out of the floor and like flips it over his head. And there's like, it was like this big metal contraption, and there's no way it weighs anything less than 500 pounds. And he just put it over his head.
Well, getting it out of the bolts that would be on the ground, that would be the problem. I don't see him. Yeah. I mean,
well, like, no, that's my point, is that like he ripped it out of the ground and still had enough stamina to flip a 500-pound thing over his head.
Well,
like
never mind the fact why did you only fire one shot at him?
Right.
I would have, unless you don't have a spare clip, I would have probably just sprayed and prayed.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, but that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. This movie is like the anti-John Wick movie.
Oh, that's
like
perfect.
It's the complete inverse. Like, nobody reloads ever. Nobody runs out of ammo.
Well,
almost ever.
Except for Schwarzenegger has to go and Schwarzenegger has to go and grab new guns every now and then.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the hotel fight scene, he only fires 5 shots.
No, I as I said, I rewatched
you did
it.
Count?
I heard 6.
Okay. I like, when I was counting, I think I started counting late. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, it's real sneaky, right? And I had to go and rewatch it just to see how Bill Duke gets impaled. Like,
right,
as I said,
I missed that too.
I thought,
actually.
and then like, no, there's really, it's only in the lower corner of the right screen. It is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's established technically.
Okay.
I mean, Chekhov gun, hell, this is Chekhov direction. I briefly covered it. You know it's gonna happen. Like,
okay,
yeah.
Okay, I need to talk about this for a minute. The secondary antagonist, what was his name?
Are we talking Vernon Wales as the Vernon Wells from Mad Max, or are we talking the El Presidente by Dan Hedaya of Clueless fame?
Vernon Wells.
Okay, the Freddie Mercury looking guy. I mean, he's got the mustache.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
Here's the thing. This is what I was struggling with. You're not wrong.
Hey,
but you're definitely not right.
Oh, I mean, Queen's my favorite band, so I hate to refer to him as that. But
yeah, it's actually same here.
Yeah.
so I was like, you don't insult Freddie Mercury.
No,
like that. This is what. Oh, hold on. No,
the guy in the chainmail. There we go. Okay.
Yes, he is what happens when you order Freddie Mercury on Wish. That's what we're looking at. It's never explained, at least as far as I could tell. But he's in the tightest leather pants, a leather shirt, and chainmail, and it's never brought up.
I think it's been hypothesized that they saw him as, I think it was Lord Humongous in the Road Warrior. Basically first guy to ever wear a hockey mask. Okay. And basically the entire inspiration for all of late 80s wrestling. Demolition with the leather bit, the mask. Yeah. I mean, there's the tag team, the Legion of Doom were established as the Road Warriors.
That was literally what I was thinking of.
So I'm just coming back on to let you know that the conversation, I can't say we're really missing too much, in all honesty. We are missing a lot of complaining about claymores not working the way they're supposed to. So Schwarzenegger goes and lays claymores out, and you see him place it so we know that, oh, this is dangerous because it says place towards enemy. Okay, that means, though, for us to read it, he's placing it in his direction. So if he were to accidentally detonate it, he would be shredded. Or in this case, completely annihilated, blown up. But claymores don't work that way. And Michael Dubois, if you need to know anything about movies and how inaccurate they are with military weaponry, go and hit that guy up on Facebook. He will give you all of the answers. Let's close out the last conversation with the actor Vernon Wells, who's still getting work. I know he's in the sequel to Green Street Hooligans, which is just, I don't know. I get thrown off when you have Aussies and Brits just swapping performances. Basically, what I was getting to is how the Ringer suggested that Vernon Wells was just not in his Road Warrior leather shape. So he kept the pants, but they needed to cover him up to avoid the wretched physique. And hey, I was a wrestler who's pretty much was told by my trainer, no matter how small I got, I was going to need a singlet. So I can relate, Mr. Wells. I can relate. With all that said, I will let you guys go for the night. Thanks for coming back to 90 for Chill, the podcast. Thank you, Stacia Hardin, for being my inspiration to keep on pushing forward. Miss you very much. Sorry I didn't recognize on the audio last week of your 17th year after your passing. But hey, we still miss you down here, and I'm sure you push all of us forward, all of those who knew you. So thanks again. I will probably attach another Sharknado note. And otherwise, if you want to be on the podcast, let me know by sending an email to rustthebus07@gmail.com. That's RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com. Or you can follow me on Twitter at CatBusRust. That's at CATBUSRUSS. That's where I prefer to get all my hate. So if you don't like the podcast, let me know there. Otherwise, help me with the algorithm, subscribe, and give me those 5-star reviews. Thanks again for coming to 90 for Chill, the podcast. If you want to be on the show, just come up with a theme, director, actor, or, hey, just one movie like we tried today, and I'll be happy to talk to you, provided that we focus on sub-100-minute work. The Poetic Critic, I can confirm that, will be next week, and we're not going to do any Disney bashing, or at least not much. Thanks again. You guys keep me going on. Thanks. Sharknado Note 4 could make for a great Namco light gun game for arcades.
Can I hear a wahoo?